In oceanography lab, it's really important that our students learn to tell the difference between a variety of marine organisms. One of the ones that can be a little tricky are the bivalves, so organisms that have two shells that fit together. One thing that Cappasity allows us to do is show them 3D renderings of these shells. So this is an oyster shell that they can turn around and get a good look at, see how it blends in well with the rocks around it. Also where the muscle attachment is, where the hinge would have been to connect it to the other shell. We can look at a clam, rotate it around, see the two muscle attachments, see the thickness of the shell itself, as well as the growth rings where the clam got bigger over time. We have other images of clams too. This is a fossil clam from our collection. And Cappasity really lets you rotate it around to get a sense of the shape of that shell, because this is not one that photographs amazingly well, but the shape is important because it is very similar to the shape of those modern clam shells. And we can even show two clam shells that fit together. So this is actually the two valves or the two halves of the shell made by the same clam. Can rotate it around, see where its hinge was, see the hinge and how those teeth would fit together into a hinge shape so that the clam could open and close around that axis, as well as these two muscle attachments on the shell. And then we can compare that both to our oysters and also our mussels. Mussels have more teardrop shaped shells. On the inside, they frequently will also have a muscle attachment, kind of like the clams do, but they're much further apart because it's a long, skinny shell, not a more short, fat one. And one other really cool thing in our Cappasity images, we can zoom in and we can see that this mussel shell had another animal actually living on the outside of it. This is what's left of an encrusting Bryozoan, another creature that grows in thin sheets on the outside of other reasonably stationary animals. You'll find bryozoans on the outside of mussel shells pretty commonly, as well as on giant kelp in the kelp beds off California. So this is really awesome, and it gives us a chance to let our students actually get some of that experience that they had been missing online.